I'm so tired of you. Sweet, I'm so tired of you treating me this way. I'm sick and then sweet, I'm so tired of you. Sweet, I'm so tired of you treating me this way.
Hello, it's your girl, I'm back to you with another vlog, back to you with another video today. My topic is setting goals and changing your mindset. Changing goals and setting your mindset. This has been a journey for me. I have a nonprofit. Not only do I have a nonprofit, I have an in-home daycare. And I'm working on another project, which I told you guys yesterday. I'm moving in silence in my life. Being that it's kind of hard that I don't have a staff and I'm doing things by myself. That's why I do a lot of praying. That's why I do a lot of meditating. That's why I do a lot of affirmations, because I fall weak in certain areas where I know I'm strong. And this is a tactic that I tell a lot of you guys. You have to learn how to remain humble. You have to learn how to move in silence. You have to learn how to just stay prayed up and in your word. Continue with your affirmations. When you set goals, stick to one goal at a time. I used to be the procrastinator. Sometimes I still do tend to procrastinate because I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting lazy. I don't have the help. I don't have the support. But God is like, I'm still in the midst. I'm still in the control of your breakthrough, of your project. I'm the one that gave you this idea. I'm the one that's helping you change your mindset. So I say stick to one goal, because when you have 2 and 3 goals and you're trying to work at those 2 and 3 goals at a time, it'll crash, it'll clash, it won't work. The mixture, the ingredients won't come together to make your product, your meal, or what have you. So long story short, I had my nonprofit, which it consisted of a diaper bank and pantry, and also with me being a community liaison or a community activist. I empowered a lot of women. I start coming across a lot of single fathers, a lot of single mothers, as we know, a lot of teenage women, girls, a lot of young fathers. So with young families, older families, single families, even married families, married couples were coming to me. And it started being a part of a conversation piece, or with me holding the license that I do hold, it started becoming like counseling or therapy. And, I used to be so surprised at how many people would just come into my office and they would just feel so humble and relaxed, because they felt like they had so much going on that they couldn't shake a stick at it. They didn't know the outcomes or who to turn to, or they didn't really even know that they had these resources that were out there. So that was one of my main goals that I focused on for maybe about a good year or two, because I had worked so hard at that goal to the point, man, I thought my brain was going to bust. I was using my own income. I was doing independent care provider, which I was working with MRDD at the time. So I was holding a job as an independent care provider. I was a subcontractor for the government. And that started weighing a toll on me, because I have to make sure that I got my hours in with my client at that time. And it was starting to be a little hectic, because I had to try to juggle my nonprofit, being at the office, and then being out of the office dealing with my client, as far as taking him to his appointments or what have you. So long story short, and also in the midst of that, still being a mom first. So, and I think baby boy at that time was in daycare. He wasn't in preschool or kindergarten like he is in now. But long story short, I had to make sure that my diapers and things, and my inventory, I had diapers, wipes, baby bottles, pacifiers, shampoo, conditioner, cribs, strollers, car seats, baby monitors, breast pumps, baby clothes, baby bags, all the essentials, even for the mother when she comes home from the hospital with her baby. I was the go-to person for that. And I was that only resource like that within my building where I had my office. I was renting an office or a suite. And when I used to sit at my desk and I used to think, sometimes when my inventory would get short, knowing that I still had to have my household stabilized and keep my household, income still going, and making sure all my responsibilities as far as gas, electric, water, rent, what have you, was still in place and still intact. And I wasn't falling short from that, because I was investing my money into my nonprofit. So I sat at the desk, and I'm very smart. I'm very, very smart. I'm the type of person, I'll be on my laptop at 2 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, researching different things. So, I didn't know too much about a nonprofit as far as starting a 501(c). So, I'm juggling around. I go on the IRS.gov site, and once I go on the site, I'm starting to look up different things that help a nonprofit or my business. So it was saying, it would be best to apply for a 501(c). So, long story short, I thank God that I did, because guess what? I was able to receive donations. I was able to even give more contributions, because my nonprofit was so sweet and ran so swell that I was able to bless some of my clients, or bless certain people that would text me, call me, email me. I was able to send them cash apps or a love token, or a donation. I wasn't always the one that was receiving. I was always the one that was giving. And I thank God that I was able to do that. So, long story short, as I'm sitting at my desk, I'm like, Lord, thank you, God. Like, when I say the donations started coming in and the contributions, it got to the point where I was starting to get pallets of diapers. I even told you guys that we had that formula, the baby formula drought at one time. I was able to provide the baby formula during that drought season of no baby formula. Me and another one of my colleagues, we were even able to come up with a recipe to have a mixture for baby formula if people were like vegans or vegetarians, or if they were breastfeeding or what have you, and had a small supply of breast milk, weren't able to pump. So in the midst of that, I've always had a passion and a love, and just the agape love for children. I am a mother first and foremost. And I kid you not, I'm not even going to sit here and lie. At one point in time, when I was back in my day, I used to be like, I don't want no kids. I don't like kids. I don't want kids. And I got real wild out here in these streets. And God was like, okay, you going to sit up here and tell me what you don't like? I'm going to show you what you're going to need, and what I'm going to give you, and what you're going to take care of. I ended up having my two twins. The one passed. Years down the line, I got my baby boy now. He's 5. It's a big age spurt from 21 to 5 years old. Yes. And don't y'all sit up here and talk about me, because it happened. I guess they say love was in the air, love was in the midst. I don't know. But long story short, in the midst of me having my children, I'm like, okay, I got a lot of friends that had daycare businesses, but I've always wanted to open up a daycare center. But I know that process to open up a daycare center is a little bit more lenient, not even lenient, a little bit more harder than opening an in-home daycare. But in the midst of me opening in my in-home daycare, I'm going through all these different trainings. We all know, when COVID-19 hit, a lot of things shut down. A lot of classes and a lot of different skills tests and everything were held on Zoom. So as I'm going through this process of trainings, I'm going through my Zooms, I'm going through my tests, my quizzes, what have you. Do you guys know they had me in the wrong classes the whole time? They had me in the classes for like regular public school teachers or charter school teachers, instead of them having me in the classes for a child care provider or a daycare owner. I'm like, boy, you got to be kidding me. So I'm like, okay, well, since I'm taking these classes or whatever, as far as on the Zoom, will I be able to carry out or carry over my credits that I have already earned? The lady sits up and tells me, no, you're not going to be able to carry them over, because we had you in the wrong classes. You got to start all over again. Now, mind you, with childcare, you have to get 120 hours even to qualify to get your CDAs. A CDA is like an instructional license for like preschool and above, or below, like infants or whatever. So, long story short, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm never a quitter. I'm a go-getter. So I'm like, okay, Lord, what next? I got to humble myself. I got to get my brain to work. My mindset got to get changed. My schedule, I got to flip it around. In the midst of that, I'm going to nursing school. I'm going to nursing school. I was juggling the relationship I was in. I'm going back and forth to school, and things start weighing heavy on me. So I'm working my MRDD job. I'm working my nonprofit. I'm trying to get these classes in to be a child care owner. And then boom, all else fails. Like I said in my other vlogs, or my lives, I end up not passing the dosage calculations test. And I know God foreseen that to happen because I had a lot weighing on me and it just was not God's timing. I rushed it. So God was like, okay, you're going to be hard headed. You ain't going to listen to nothing I told you to do. I told you to wait and believe in me and know that I will foresee you through. So guess what? I'm going to stop you in your tracks. You ain't going no further with this. So I'm like, okay, Lord, like I said, I'm driving home, I'm bawling tears, I got my gospel music up, I'm questioning God, like, why me? And it's not ever a good thing to question God. Because when you question God, everything else that you are asking God for, He gonna block it. I guarantee that He gonna block it. So long story short, in the midst of it, I'm like, okay, I had to take a brain break. I'm still working for MRDD. Things started going haywire with my client, his family. That ended up being a no-go. I ended up losing that. But I still do hold the certification to work for it as a subcontractor with the government. I just have to recertify. So I got some classes that I'm working on now, and I'm trying to juggle and trying to finish. I think it's like 12 more modules I got to finish. Everything after COVID-19, everything is just like all online now, all computer savvy, all electronic. It's really not too much of going to an in-person or NC class, as they call it. So in the midst of that, I'm doing these classes for my child care. The process is just like dragging. So I don't know if most of you know, when you go through trying to open an in-home daycare, you got to make sure your house is up to par. You have to make sure everything that is on that checklist is up to a T. Because when that inspector, the state inspector, hits that pavement and they come in and they see things is out of whack, baby, they will be like, nah, we not issuing you no license. You ain't getting ready to open nothing up in here up under us to find somebody else to do it. So in the midst of that, I know the house that I live in, a lot of things I need fixed is not up to par. I'm trying to take care of some things now where I could buy a home. I'm feeling like I'm getting too old to be renting. I'm wasting money. I need me and my children to be comfortable because you never know when you're gonna leave this world. You never know the minute, the second, nor the hour. So if I do live here, they don't have to rely on family. They got their own property that they own, and they just have to maintain it, pay the mortgage, whatever. So in the midst of all that, I got certain things that's coming off the checklist that has passed. I got certain things on my checklist that didn't pass. So I'm letting my landlord know, hey, look, I got some things. You gave me the permission, because a lot of these landlords will not give you the permission to open up a business on their properties because they feel like you are a liability. But thank God I'm able to hold my own insurance for that, and I don't have no problem. I ain't got to worry about none of that. But I'd rather just go ahead and buy my own home and be able to move my child care into my home, so that once I do get some more hours, up to 480 hours for me to either be a preschool teacher or beyond, I can go ahead and just get up out of my home, because I'm not gonna lie, the in-home daycare gets boring, but I thank God that I'm able to do that. You have to start from the bottom in order for God to bless you to the top, or you have to be thankful for the small so that God can bless you with bigger. So in the midst of that, I was trying to do my training for a child care center, and I'm trying to do training for an in-home daycare, family child care. So it's dragging. I'm emailing the inspector back and forth. I'm emailing the social. I'm emailing who I need. I'm just emailing the state's emails going out every day. I'm waking up early in the morning checking emails like, Lord, what's going on with this? He said, didn't I tell you to wait? You're being hard-headed. It's all in my time. In due season, Galatians 6 and 9. I carry that with me everywhere I go. Long story short, excuse me, you guys. I finally get the email. State is getting ready to come out. They're getting ready to do their inspection. So the day they come out, they pull in the driveway. I swear, I kid you not, I have butterflies in my stomach down to the pits and my tippy toes of my feet. They come in, they're looking around. It's very small in here. This house is only, 780 square feet. It's not very big, but if you come inside, it's bigger than you think it is, if you can visualize it. So long story short, they go, they inspect, they checked everything. I got my fire extinguishers, I got all my signs, my policies, my procedures, my parent information. I have all the equipment, my tables, my chairs, my cots, what have you. My bathroom is up to par, my changing stations. I have my food, snack supply. I have my first aid kits. Like, when I tell you they check every crick and cranny of your home, they check every crick and cranny of your home, even your outside. So mind you, my outside, I don't have a barrier or a fence. So you have to have that so that the children, when they're outside playing, they can't run out into the street. My yard is open. So like right now, if you will come to my home with me having no barrier or no fence, they can run out into the street if you're not paying attention. So long story short, emails started coming through. Finally get the approval for the in-home daycare. Boom. I think I get my approval around like May of this year. I get some children in like June, July, all summer. I have 3 kids. Me being that I have my own child, if you have your own kids, they count your children that you have in your home as one of your daycare kids. So my family child care is a type B, so I'm only allowed 6 kids. So minus my son, I'm only allowed 5 children. Long story short, everything's going good, and then you see that summer is starting to be over with. So it gets slowed down with childcare because the kids are starting to go back to school. You got parents signing their kids up for different preschools and stuff as far as inside a center. Now, mind you, I have license for, I am a preschool teacher, so I have license to have kids in my home and teach them as far as preschool. So I kid you not, I have had no children in my home since August. I'm like, okay, Lord, what next? My income is short. They don't want you to have a job when you have a in-home daycare or a center. They just don't want you to have a job. Things is getting slow. I got bills and things I got to pay for. I got a baby, a child I still got to take care of and raise. I got to go back to work. This is for the birds. I don't know what they talking about. I got to go back to work. But in the midst of it all, God put things on a pause because my mind, I was getting overwhelmed. I was getting frustrated. So the moral of the story is, when you have goals that are set, you got to change your mindset, change your eating habits, because that plays a lot within your body. Your rest, you have to get rest, get you some great resources. Pray and ask God to give you the great resources and support system that's going to foresee you through your business, because having a business and having nonprofits is not easy. It weighs very, very heavy on you. So this is for each and every one of you that are watching. When you have goals, stay and stick with one thing. Don't be floppy and stick and try to get yourself in a whole bunch of stuff and get overwhelmed. Because guess what? God will foresee you through no matter what your circumstances is. Know that God is in control. Ask God to come into your heart and deliver you from whatever you need deliverance from. Ask and repent when you know you are wrong. Because guess what? With you having a business, a nonprofit, or whatever goal, or whatever desire you're trying to reach. And that was as I was reading in Psalms today. God will give you the desires of your heart. He will, and I know He will. I know He will foresee me through. Like I said, my income and things are limited right now, but I'm believing in God for a breakthrough. I'm believing in God for overflow. So as I carry out this message today, stay encouraged, be blessed, be a trendsetter, set your goals, but stick to one thing. When you overcome one thing, God will foresee you to the next thing, your next level in life. It's levels to things in life. You can't rush because God's timing is really real. God is in control. And when He foresees and He sees that it's not going to, as they say, or as I always say, you have to activate. You have to execute in order to activate. You have to execute in order to activate God's word, God's timing. Healing power is in the midst. God is in the midst. So may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. This is your girl, Purely She. Back to you with another vlog. Back to you with another video. Be blessed.